Alright, welcome to my first video on tissue culturing. This one will be tissue culturing Nepenthes seed. Probably the easiest way to get into tissue culturing Nepenthes. To actually sort of tissue culture Nepenthes from a piece of plant material is extremely hard. I've been trying for quite some time now and still it's hit and miss. Probably get one plant out of 20 to actually not be contaminated, but seed is much easier. So what I've got here is just some Nepenthes seed, no particular type. I don't even know what type it is actually. I had it stored away for a while, not labelled, so I decided to use that and we'll see what grows from it. This has been soaking for 24 hours in ppm, plant preservative mixture. A lot easier to use than the normal old bleach. Bleach is a little bit messy and can be hit and miss, whereas ppm, basically you chuck it in, let it soak for 24 hours or thereabouts, depending on what strength you make the ppm. This is at 2%, so I usually soak Nepenthes seed for 24 hours. Also a little bit of polysorbate 20 in there just as a wetting agent to help the ppm get into the seed. Like I was saying, the homemade laminar flow cabinet. If you're a bit of a handyman, it's not too hard. The most expensive part is, of course, the filter at the back there. But all told, with the filter and the fan, relatively cheap compared to buying a commercial unit. This cost me around $450 for the actual unit itself by the time I put it all together. Yeah, and considering the price of a commercial unit, it's fairly cheap, and it works really well. I've had great results with this. Also in here, glass bead sterilizer. I've had this for quite a while now. Bead sterilising the equipment in the pressure cooker. Really good. Basically, just if not you know what it is a little heater in here full of glass beads. Heats it up to about 210 degrees Celsius. So basically turn it on, heat it up and stick your utensils in there for several minutes, heats them up and sterilise them. So we'll kick that into gear and let that warm up. Alright, so what else have I got here? We have a strainer. There's various ways of doing this. I find this the easiest way. Basically using a sterilised stainless steel strainer. Once the seed has been soaked, pour the seed into the strainer and bam, and place the seed into the various containers that we require. Alright, so I'll go ahead and turn the fan on and we'll get things rolling. Alright, I hope you can hear over the fan. Right, so basically all I'll do now is get the seed and strain it out. This ppm can be reused several times, so well, this has been used about 4 times before, so I usually go maybe about 7 or 8 times and then I ditch it, but for the cost of it, you try and use it as much as you can. Simply tip it into there, and as per usual, a little bit of the seed sticks inside here, so normally I just let this cool down a little bit, but we'll just pick it all out, pull the seed out. I hope you can see I'm not blocking the picture too much. Alright, so that'll do us for this purpose of the exercise. Alright, so we got the seed in here, draining off all the ppm, and basically, if you can see, there we go. Fairly fine fiddly seed, but reasonably easy to work with compared to a lot of other seed. Alright, so here we have the containers. Got 2 different types. Standard glass container. Been using these for quite a while for seed, but have managed to get hold of some polypropylene containers. These aren't actually tissue culture containers, but they work extremely well, and for the cost of them, very, very good. You get maybe 4 or 5 uses out of these. Obviously the glass lasts a lot longer, of course, but for the cost of them, this is where I'm going. Most of my tissue culture now has gone into these containers. So what we'll do, let's open up our container. If there's a little bit of condensation in here, usually at this stage I tip it off. This one's pretty much been drained. Oops. And ready to go. So all I basically do is grab out our seed and simply drop back into the container. There we go. And once I've done that, I remove, this is basically a stainless steel piece of TIG wire, but ideal for spreading out the seed. Because it's Nepenthes seed, it tends to clump together a little bit, as you can see. I hope you can see in there. So all I'll do now is with this is spread the seed out around the container. It can be a little bit fiddly at times, but try and disperse it all around the bottom of the media. Right, won't go into too much of it. And there we go. Now, another important thing that I've found to help reduce contamination is this marvellous stuff. It's basically polyurethane wrap, sort of like Glad wrap, but a lot stronger. If you notice, snap a piece off, it really stretches and you can get a good tight seal on it. So what we do is basically wrap it around the container. Just do a rough one. So get it on there, stretch it out nice and tight, and seal between the lid and the glass jar or plastic jar, depending on what you're using. And that's it. Alright, most of these commercial produced tissue culture containers say that they're sealed airtight, but especially in warmer climates, when you have a big change between day and nighttime temperature, obviously the air inside expands and contracts in the cold. So what you'll find is some air does get into these containers. They're not 100% airtight, so you will get some contamination, if you're unlucky, entering these jars via that. So this sealing film is crucial, I believe. I don't do anything without it. So there we are, the Nepenthes seed. Now we basically place it under lights and see what happens.